Shalakaya Chakshun Malatam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. I was born in the darkest ignorance, and my spiritual master has kindly opened my eyes with a shining torchlight transcendental knowledge. I therefore offer my respectful obeisances under his lotus feet. Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai.
So where are we now? 16.
We spent about 4 sessions going through 15. It's got a big purport.
Yes, that's what. And the 4th session means that was April. I wasn't here. Whole 4 sessions.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So that was about 4 kinds of people that don't surrender to Krishna.
Yes.
I'll just recapping on those 4 kinds. It's there 7:15. So the 4 kinds is the mudha. Mudha means the foolish rascal. They're compared to asses.
Yes.
They're compared to asses. So it means they work very hard. So the mudhas, they working so hard, and that's why they don't surrender, because they have no time for God. They're just working like an ass. Just like the ass, in India, they put the heavy load on the back of the ass, and the ass is carrying the heavy load the whole day long.
One thing about the ass is, ass and the horse. Ass, you can't teach him. Horse, you can. And then you probably will say, both are animal. Why can't we teach ass? How come we teach horse? We can't teach ass. Ass, you have to be stick, then he move. And the horse, he will run from the shadow of the whip.
Yeah.
Why is that? The reason is that ass thinks he knows.
Oh, okay.
That's the problem. He thinks he knows everything. That's why you can't teach him. If someone thinks that he knows everything, you can't teach that person.
Yeah.
That's what the ass.
And that mudha category is very common now in this Kali Yuga. At this time, people working so hard just for sense gratification, and they don't have any time for thinking about God or anything like that. And another category is mentioned as Naradhama. Naradhama means the lowest of mankind. Means that human life is actually very high, very elevated life, because it's an opportunity to get the moksha, the mukti, get liberation. Because we have a higher consciousness. We can think more clearly. Who am I? Why am I suffering? What's the purpose of things? Is there a God? Everything. So animals can't think about these things, about the soul and God and that, but a human being can. So that's the purpose of it. But Naradhama means you have this valuable human life that can connect with God, but you don't use it for that. You use it just for animalistic things, for sense.
What a waste! The human life
is rock and roll.
Human life is the opportunity. You got that. I don't know how millions of life you will get that are human life. Opportunity. What a waste.
Yeah, what a waste. So very tragic. So very, very unfortunate. Wasting the valuable life. And then third category is the Maya Ya Pahata Jnana. So that means the Gyan, the knowledge, is Apahata means stolen away, taken away by the Maya. Maya Ya Pahata Jnana. So the knowledge is stolen by Maya, by illusion. So that means, that category is like, and have good intelligence, like the scientist, the philosopher, the poet, like that academic person, whatever, like that. Good brain, good intelligence, but all the intelligence and knowledge is stolen by Maya. So they say, what do these intelligent people say? There's no soul, there's no God, there's only one life, and when you die, that's it, finished. And you should enjoy as much sense gratification as you can. So this is they promoting all these kind of illusory philosophies. So it means the intelligence is stolen by illusion, because they're not surrendering to God. So everything that they say is basically illusion, is ignorance. So that's also a big category as well. All these teachers, all these scientists, philosophers, everything. But everything they say is just illusory. It's all wrong like that. They don't have any proper knowledge, any real knowledge, because they don't want to surrender. And the fourth category is the asura, means full-on demon. That I hate God, or I'm God. I'm God and I hate Krishna, and there's no Krishna and all this kind of stuff. So, they're like you know, full-on atheist.
But these souls, they also, the Krishna's souls as well, they can be purified.
Yep.
Because Krishna in there as well, whether atheists or demons or mudas, but this is Krishna's, like, so I've got a soul, that a seed, Krishna seed in me, in you, in everyone, and these people have got that as well. But if they can be modified, purified, and then
of course, and that's why preaching is there. Otherwise, why would we bother to preach if you can't change anyone? We preach because there is a possibility of changing someone. And I mean, look at ourselves. I mean, I myself was an atheist before, and I never believed in God or anything like that, or the soul or anything. But by meeting devotees, they changed me. You know, by their association, I got purified like that. And so it definitely is possible to go from being a materialistic atheist to being a devotee, and also can go backwards from being a devotee back to a materialist again. You know, that's also because free choice, and that's why it's there. So free choice is there. You can love Krishna or you can hate Krishna. So you have that choice.
You cannot
force Krishna, or you want everyone to serve you. You know, so that free choice is always there eternally. Because we're part of Krishna, so Krishna has unlimited free choice. So we're part, so we have some small free choice as well. So that's naturally going to be there.
Definitely.
If you're forced to love Krishna, to serve Krishna, well, then it's not love, because love has to be voluntary.
Cannot be forced. Now, you cannot force someone to love me.
Yeah.
Either they love or they don't love. You cannot force. If it's a force,
never going to force.
Yeah, it's a.
So if someone wants to be envious of Krishna or hate Krishna or whatever, then he lets them do it. He'll help them. In fact, he'll help them to do it.
I've got one friend, and she's atheist. She doesn't believe in the Krishna and all that. I give her a Purport book, and then I give her a chanting bead as well. And then she's still a very good friend. I mean, she's a very good person, except she's missing that Krishna in her life.
Yeah.
So I know her since 2014, and she comes to my place sometimes and all that. And then last time she came, she said that your cooking habit has been changed. I said, what do you mean? I mean, so I just cook normal pasta, or sometimes that pumpkin soup and the salad or something. She said, no, your food taste has been changed. I said, oh, same spices I'm using, the mean change. She said, I don't know. It's something is being changed. It's not the same what you was cooking before. And then one day she came, and then she come in the kitchen. I said, don't touch any food yet, because there's some salad and stuff there. She said, well, why? I said, I haven't offered yet. And then she said, okay, she's outside. And then I just make a plate and offer it. And after that, she's looking at what offering means is. And then after that, I just bring it down and we both eat it. She said, oh, that makes a difference, I think. Now it's become a prasadam. She don't know what's a prasadam and the difference in the food and prasadam. Once you've been offered prasadam. So I said, look, this is the difference. I offered. That's why it tastes. He said, tastes totally different. I said, I'm exactly the same. I haven't been changed. I used to make pumpkin soup before, pumpkin soup now. The only difference is before that I was an offer. Now I do offer.
Yeah.
So I said, this is the difference in there. And she's thinking, okay, is that? I said, yes. You won't see that. I've got a curtain there. I just put the plate and just say the prayer and close the curtain, 5, 7, 10 minutes. And then we eat whatever leftover, remnant for that. And that's what it is. So she said, okay, is that make a difference in the taste? I said, yes. Otherwise, I'm the same. Spices are the same. Why taste different? And she even tasting the difference in the food.
Yeah, so that's the proof. That's the proof that Krishna is accepting.
I said, go back home, read the Prabhupada book. But she's still not clicking that. But it'll take time. I'm just, that. No, but
she's had prasadam and devotee association, a book, everything. So definitely she's on the way.
Yeah, it's like sometimes, but I don't know how many years being contaminated and all that. But if you keep...
Yeah, we have to be patient. You try to spread Krishna consciousness. Don't expect you're going to get instant results.
Yeah.
It's up to Krishna, so you just have to try your best, you know.
Yeah, that's the thing. But oh well, that's the life. But
that's Krishna's instruction. You know, you have to do your duty, but don't be attached to the results.
No, not as
control of the results.
Yeah, because the thing is
and whatever results come, don't think that you're the cause of it.
Oh yeah, definitely not. Definitely not. Because
so this is
you have to take the doer part out of it. You are a doer. Doer is someone else.
That's the ahankara. Ahankara means we're thinking we're the doer. That's the ahankara.
That's the thing. That's the ego. It's like they were saying there's one book I was reading in there. Person become a devotee, and he said that only one thing I want you to promise me. If I teach you something, you have to go to the West and spread. And then he said, okay. And then it's like Krishna was saying that in even Bhagavad Gita 18th chapter, whoever do my glorification is very dear to me. So you have to be telling that. That's why we do Harinam, isn't it? So it's very important there, and especially those who doesn't know anything about it. So it's in I still drive in an Uber, and they look in my car there, and they ask, and I tell first thing, come and have a prasadam in Bhakti Tree. And when they come and then they have got a prasadam, they can see the book and incense and all. Sometimes they buy that honey and then the chanting bead, we got a neck bead and all that things there. Yeah. And then slowly they might pick one book and read. Okay. There's one book there, Mahamantra book, actually that Pratapna Prabhu had printed, and we just give it a free handover. First he was charging, he said charge for $1 or something. I said, now if somebody really like that, I'll just give him a free. It's okay.
Yeah.
It's like, it's one day that Radhanath Maharaj need to buy Prabhupada books in Bombay, and he did not have money, and he was begging, and he don't know how to beg, and he was asking bakshish. But begging is also an art. How do you beg, and which person you can approach it? But Radhanath Maharaj does not know that, and he has collect maybe I think 70-80 cents, not even 1 rupee, and the book was like 2 rupees. And then he went there, he says, look, I'm trying to begging for that book, and then I don't get enough begging. And then I don't know who was the Prabhuji, he just feels so sorry for Maharaj. He said, I'll give you, don't worry, it's okay, here you go, you deserve it. And he took the book, is so happy. I got the Prabhupada book I was reading in there. I don't know, it was a Krishna book or something like that back in those days, like in 75. So it's like, you have to see how, trusty the person is. If you're really trusty, let it be. It's okay. If he doesn't have money, does not matter. Because if he's hungry, he will absorb something from that book, definitely. But it's like ISKCON philosophy is that take some money out of that, because if you give it a free book, it's not gonna affect them. So we can ask, but
they get some benefit by giving some contribution.
Yes,
they get some benefit by sacrificing some of their wealth.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, that's right. So it's like somebody even
also that money can be used to help spread Krishna consciousness.
Definitely.
So it's very practical. The movement, any organization, as you know, needs money so it can, continue its activities.
Absolutely.
So that's the most purest way to make an income is through
we do income, because it's without income that big temples and all this organization. Because I did that IDC course, he was telling how the ISKCON, I did from the Belgium online IDC course, ISKCON disciple course. I was telling everything there, how's the moment and all that things there. But one thing they're telling that if any Prabhupada God brother comes to the temple, don't allow to teach them, don't allow to preach them. They can come to the temple, have a prasadam, but not allowed to preach them.
Why?
I don't know. He says they're not it's they're not in the same level, and Prabhupada says that they're allowed to come, but they're not allowed to preach.
Oh, so what did you say? Prabhupada's God brothers? Or Prabhupada's disciples?
Not disciple, God brothers.
Oh, Prabhupada's God brothers. Yeah. No, I've heard that before, that Prabhupada said like that. Yeah.
So It's telling about all the organization, everything there. So
because why that is because the Prabhupada's God brothers, many of them had like a different mood.
Yes.
Prabhupada. So if you hear completely different philosophies, then you get confused. You know, the person hearing will get confused. Like, I'll give you an example. Prabhupada's mood was one of the things that he was teaching was the importance of spreading Krishna consciousness, right? Preaching, spreading Krishna consciousness. Whereas some of Prabhupada's God brothers, they had a different mood, like mainly focusing on trying to go deeper into Krishna consciousness through hearing the very intimate pastimes between Radha and Krishna and the gopis in Vrindavan.
Yeah.
Like that. So hearing all this, you know, rasika, it's called rasika kata. You know, all the kata, the talks of all the rasa, you know, all the bhakti rasa, all the, you know, rasa lila and all the different pastimes of Krishna and the gopis and cowherd girls and like that. So that's their mood, you know, some of them were like that. But that was completely different than Prabhupada's mood. Prabhupada's mood is you just spread Krishna consciousness and Lord Chaitanya will be so pleased that you are spreading Krishna consciousness, then he'll make you advanced. Then by his mercy, he'll be so happy with you, then you will make advancement in Krishna consciousness.
If the guru is the same, then their mood must be the same. You know, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, that Prabhupada's guru, if there is the God brothers, Prabhupada's God brothers, the mood must be the same because the guru is one. It's one guru, and he must be.
No, but what happened to free choice? You know, you've forgotten about free choice.
But how
Prabhupada said that because so many people were giving Prabhupada credit that, you know, you spread Krishna consciousness over the world, you established so many temples, you made so many devotees and everything like that. Prabhupada said, I don't take credit for any of that. He said, if you want to give me credit, I'll take credit for one thing, that I didn't deviate 1 inch from the instructions of my spiritual master. So that Prabhupada there is indicating what his special distinction is from everyone else, is that Prabhupada stuck very closely in line with his guru's instructions. Whereas others, they're a bit, you know, go a bit 5 centimeters that way or 1 foot this way, you know, went a bit off like that.
See.
So, yeah, and that's because free choice is there. That's because free choice is there. Yeah, like that.
My mentor was Satsanga Prabhu, and I stuck in the course, but he helped me that. And finally, yes, it did online, and there were like around 15-20 people. There were some from Melbourne, some from America. They're all doing the online. So I said, okay, I'll do it. So because need to know, it's good knowledge, good information about the ISKCON, how it works and things like that. You know, a bit more knowledge, which is good.
Yeah. Oh, that's good. Very good. Okay, let's read 16.
Yeah.
So this is 16 of the 7th chapter, Knowledge of the Absolute.
Yeah.
Chaturvidha bhajante mam.
Chaturvidha bhajante mam.
Jana sukritino arjuna.
Jana sukritino arjuna.
Arto jijnasur artati.
Arto jigyasa surarthi.
Jnani cha bharatashva.
Jnani cha bharatashra.
Okay, would you like to read the translation, please?
Yeah. O best of among the Bhāratas, 4 kind of pious men being to render devotional service unto me. The distress, the desire of the wealth, the inquisitive, and he who is searching for a truth of the knowledge. You know, I tell these things to everyone. 4 kind of people there come to the Krishna consciousness. Yeah. And I give it for example. Abhay Prabhu is the 4th one. I'm the second one. Because I came with my wealth, like I was sick, and some they are inquisitive, but yours the fourth one, search for absolute knowledge.
Oh, I'm not so sure. I think I came as a mix. Well, I didn't come because I desired wealth. Definitely it wasn't that one.
Third to fourth.
But I think it's a mixture of
third and fourth.
Well, third was there. Yeah, I was very inquisitive. I was really searching for some answers to my questions. Yeah, I think it was a bit of that. A bit of the first one, distress, and a bit of the third one, inquisitive. And I don't think I was so elevated to be thinking about knowledge of the absolute. I wasn't that advanced, but I was inquisitive, definitely inquisitive.
Yeah, I was definitely second one. I was not inquisitive because I'm born with the Hindu family, and then we've seen all that. So it's nothing new for me. It's but like Radhan Maharaj must be the same. He was having that, when he had a poster in New Delhi in a jump, the boy, the blue boy with the flute. He did not know anything about that. Only taking that of the poster, and then I'm going to find this blue boy with the flute. It's just attract him. It's not like he's not from this loka. He's from different loka, and he came for sometimes on this loka.
Yes. Yeah.
All the Purport disciples are very special.
Because
it's a few of them. They seen, Jayapataka Maharaj. They says we seen Maharaj before the Mangalati offering there are flowers with the closed temple of Panchtattva there, and then people seen that, and Maharaj is on the wheelchair. How can that be possible? He said, we seen that Maharaj is offering the flower. Sometimes people they say yes, and then we seen, and Maharaj is on the wheelchair. How can he can't even stand? But they seen that. So they're not ordinary people there, Prabhupada disciple. These are Radhanath Maharaj and Jayapataka Maharaj. They are very special.
Yes, definitely. Okay, so like it said here, pious, so anyone that surrenders to the Lord and serves the Lord is pious.
Yes.
So their heart is clean to some degree. Their heart is clean. One time Prabhupada explained that the word piety means actions that cleanse the heart. So pious activities are activities that clean the heart. And the opposite is impious or sinful activities. They make our heart more dirty. That when we engage in sinful activities, it's making our heart more dirtier. Intoxication, illicit sex, meat eating, gambling. So these activities, they make our heart more dirty, more lust, more greed, more anger, more envy, more pride, all this kind of thing. And pious activity is the opposite. It removes the lust, removes the greed, removes the anger, makes our heart more cleaner. And so definitely anyone that's surrendered to the Lord, their heart is becoming cleaner. Of course, it won't be completely clean, and probably, because otherwise we wouldn't be in the material world. If our heart was fully clean, we wouldn't be here. So there is some dirt there, but the point is that we're on the path of cleaning the dirt out. And Lord Chaitanya said, Chaito Dharpana Marjanam, that this chanting of Hare Krishna cleans the dirt from the mind, from the heart, cleans the dust. Chaito Dharpana Marjanam. So the marjanam means cleaning. Marjanam, like you have mandira marjanam. So that means cleaning the mandir, the temple. Mandira marjanam. So this is marjanam, cleaning the chaito. Chaito means the mind, cleaning the mind, which is compared to here as a dharpana means mirror.
Yeah.
It's a mirror. It's a mirror. So just like why the mind is compared to a mirror, because what happens if the mirror is covered with dust?
You can't see your face clearly.
You can't see your face clearly, yeah. So if the mind is clean, like if the mirror is clean, like if the mirror is clean, you can see yourself. So if the mind is clean, which is compared to a mirror, if the mind is clean, then you can become self-realized. You can understand that you're the soul, that you're not the body. You can understand that you're a servant of Krishna. If the mind is dirty, you can't understand that you're not the body. You think you are the body. You can't understand that you're a servant of Krishna and that you should serve Krishna, that you should surrender to Krishna. You can't understand these things if the mind is dirty. So the Lord Chaitanya is saying in that first verse of Shikshastaka that this Param Vijayate Sri Krishna Sankirtanam, this congregational chanting of Krishna's names, it cleans the mirror of the mind of all the dust. So it cleans the dust or the dirt from the mind, which is compared to a mirror, and then you can see yourself.
And you have to every day. It just even if you close the room, still dirt will come. No matter, if you have a mirror there or TV, anything there, you will see there's some dirt particle is there. Every day you gotta clean.
Yes,
every day. You can't just say, oh, once in a week I can clean.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah. Because that's the nature of the material world, that ignorance is everywhere, and passion, lust, and greed, and anger, and all these things are everywhere, the modes of material nature. So we have to do it every day, like you're saying. That's a good point. Not just once in a lifetime or once.
Even if it's a closed room, you will see some dirt will come.
Yeah.
If your windows and everything is closed, some dirt will come. So
I was just reading in Bhagavatam where it was saying that the Lakshmis, the goddess of fortune in the Vaikuntha, are cleaning the walls of the Krishna's palace. They're cleaning the walls of Krishna's palace, even though there's no dust. So the spiritual world is opposite. The material world is a very dirty place all the time. More dirt is coming. But a spiritual world is very clean. And there's no dirt. There's no dirt, no dust. So then it said the question is, why are they cleaning the walls if the walls are already clean? If there's no dust? It said that they're cleaning the walls because they want to please Krishna. Yes. They want to please Narayana. So they're trying to do some service, even though you could say the service is not really necessary because the wall's already clean, but they just want to do some service to try to please Krishna.
That's right.
So then Krishna will be happy with them that they're doing some service, and they'll be blessed by Krishna and their love relationship.
That those who come in the farm, I mean, they come and have a prasadam. I said, do some service. Otherwise, you become creditor of Krishna. Just having the prasadam, do something. At least just clean the floor, wash the dishes, or feed the cows, or do something. Just eat and go. That means you become a creditor. And then Krishna will take that credit back no matter what. So you better do some service or donation. Do something.
No, but even they taking prasadam, that is also service. Prasad sevaya. So
they have to do something.
I know what you're saying though. They're coming to the temple taking something, but they may not realize, but they're actually getting purified even just by taking the prasadam.
Can I just say something?
Jayanti wants to say something.
Actually, in a Shiva temple, you're not supposed to take anything.
Stand there.
From a Shiva temple, you're not supposed to take anything. Okay? They say, there's a saying, I'll ask my mother again and I'll tell you, but it talks about becoming, it's kulanasham. If you take something from a Shiva temple, it's kulanasham. But if you take from a Vishnu temple, it's very merciful. Actually, you should take prasadam from Vishnu temple, but you should not take from Shiva temple.
I went to
saying like that itself.
I went to Kashi Vishwanath, the Shiva temple there, and I offered some, and I took some prasadam.
Yeah.
Which I shouldn't be, because the priest was taking that whole box and offering some, and then some remnant left over. He gave it that for us to have as a prasadam.
I don't know. I mean, generally, Shiva is also given, because he's Vaishnava, he's given Prasadam. Prasadam is from, I mean, Krishna Prasadam is given to Shiva as well, but
If
I
you,
don't know. I mean,
if
but there is a saying that you should never take anything from a Shiva temple, but you should surely take from a Vishnu temple. Yeah.
okay.
Krishna says, you know, aham bija prada pita. So he's our Pita, our father. So, you know, the father loves to feed his children. So that's one way that Krishna is extending his love for us, his mercy to us, is by giving us his remnants, his prasadam. Actually, there's a story that previously it was very rare to get Vishnu's prasadam. Very rare. Very difficult. Very rare. And that one time, then Narada Muni, I think it was, Narada Muni came and gave some Vishnu prasadam to Narayan prasadam to her husband, to Shiva. So it was given to Shiva, and Narada gave it to Shiva because they're brothers, right? They both come from Lord Brahma. So Narada gave it to Lord Shiva, and Shiva was dancing in ecstasy.
Yeah.
And then his wife came in the room, as Parvati came, and said, "Why are you so happy?" And he said, "Because I got some prasadam, some prasadam from the Lord. I got some prasadam." And then she said, "Okay, well, where's mine?" And he said, "Sorry, I ate it all," you know. And she was very upset. She was very upset that she didn't get prasadam. So it said she engaged in very severe tapasya, very severe austerities for a very long time. What was the purpose of the austerities? To make it Vishnu prasadam would be available to everybody. That Vishnu prasadam would become available to everybody. And especially that vow came true through the Jagannath Puri. Because Jagannath Puri, the prasadam, so much prasadam they're making, and it's distributed to everybody. To everybody, whoever. Doesn't matter, you're Malecha, Chandala, Yavana, Brahmana, whatever. Everyone gets prasadam. The dogs, you know, the pigs, you know, the prasadam gets everywhere. So, but previously, it was actually very rare to get Vishnu prasadam. But because of Durga or Parvati, it's become available, you know, everywhere. And we have a disease in ISKCON that we eat too much prasadam. So, you know, there's so much prasadam, but previously it wasn't like that. But yeah, Krishna does like that his prasadam gets distributed to the devotees.
Yeah.
And I was just reading today in the 3rd canto Bhagavatam, where it was saying that I'm more satisfied when the Brahmana is eating my prasadam cooked in ghee and so many things, delicious prasadam cooked in ghee. I'm more satisfied, I enjoy more when my Brahmana is eating than when the food is offered to me through the fire sacrifice. Because that's one of his mouths. That's the mouth of Vishnu, is in the fire yagya. So where the idea is of the fire yagya, you're putting ghee into the fire and grains and that's actually the mouth of Vishnu. So it's like you're feeding Vishnu through the fire. But in that verse in Bhagavatam, it was saying that Krishna enjoys more through the mouth of the Brahmana than through the mouth of the fire. So that's actually another way to feed Vishnu, is by feeding the devotees, the Vaishnavas and the Brahmanas. That's actually more pleasing to Krishna when you're feeding the Brahmanas and Vaishnavas, the prasadam, giving it to them, that Krishna enjoys that more than just putting food into the fire, sacrifice like
And
that.
in
So there's
fact-
two ways to feed God.
Mm.
Two ways to feed God. You feed God through the fire and by feeding the devotees. But of course, devotees will only eat the food, like you mentioned, if it's been offered to Krishna.
Yes.
So you offer it to Krishna, but when it's offered to Krishna and then you offer it to the devotees, at that point, Krishna really enjoys it. So even you've already, in one sense, you offered it to him. Okay, he enjoyed it, but he enjoys it more after that food that you've offered to him. You offer it to his devotees. He really enjoys that. He really enjoys that. And it said that the food that you offer the Lord is called prasadam. And the food that you offer to the devotees is called mahaprasadam.
Oh, okay.
It's called mahaprasadam. That food is called mahaprasadam.
I had that Mahaprasadam there in Rajapur temple in Mayapur. You know, in the basement we went there. I went there for one of the devotee, and then I started counting. At least there was a 23 times a different item. I said, stop! I can't eat that. Little. Oh my God! That's the Rajapur temple is no different than Puri.
Mm.
It's a beautiful prasadam there.
Yeah.
Before that, it was cooked at a Mayapur and taken to Rajapur every day.
Yeah.
Then now they did their own kitchen.
Yes.
Yes, it's very nice. Jagannath Puri is just very special place.
Yes.
No matter how many time. And those who born in the Puri.
And also the Mahaprasadam in Puri does not become Mahaprasadam until it's offered to that Bimala Devi. That's
Durga.
Parvati.
Parvati. Yeah.
Like it's offered to Jagannath, then it's offered to her, and then it's given out as Mahaprasadam.
When they're taking the prasadam to the hallway to the Jagannath, they cover their mouth and everything and get aside everything. They just take in the big, the thal, the prasadam there. Somebody told me that you can't even go near them. They just get aside. They're going straight. Radharani cooks that in the kitchen. We can't even go to the kitchen. Somebody told me that, how that they just put it all that and then come out of the kitchen. They don't cook it. Radharani cooks that. Yes, it's so special, that prasadam. We can get the khichdi. It's wonderful. I'm very lucky. I had that some last year. I'll have this year too, hopefully, if Jagannath mercy.
So nice. This is how we get purified, how we become pious, is through hearing the holy name, chanting the holy name, taking prasadam, serving the devotees, like that. So there's different ways that we can become purified. And that's very important, because in the material world, we are all very impure. We're very contaminated. We're very sinful. So we want to clean the heart. So the best way, recommended by Lord Chaitanya, is by chanting Hare Krishna. That's the best way to clean the heart. But these other ways, taking prasadam is very good. That people, even in the beginning, people are very selfish. They don't think about, let me do something for the temple. They just come and eat and go. But in the beginning, that's still good, because they're becoming purified. And we've seen it happen, that after some time of just coming and eating, and then slowly the idea comes, I want to do some service. So, and that's because they've become purified by taking prasadam, that now they want to, offer some other service.
The new Gokula, they put that sign up there. If somebody wants to do some service, they put some mobile number such and such and contact Pratapna Prabhu, and then they will, because if they're asking me or Mahesh Prabhu and all that, we don't know. I say, okay, you can do that. But they do specifically, if you want to do some service, contact that. And that's the number. And we can allocate your duties there. What do you like to do? What are you capable enough to do that? Because everybody has got some qualities.
Sure.
Then Pratapna Prabhu will say, okay, you be fit for that job. And you can do that. So it'll be good. That a lot of people, they're asking each other. Some says, okay, you can cut the vegetable. And you can do that. So, but now they did that proper way. If you want to go do some service, please contact. And then Pratap Prabhu was there anyway. And then a lot of volunteers there at the moment.
Oh, good.
There's around, we had 10, 15 volunteers. They're all Europeans, I don't know, backpack or something like that. But they're helping my buddy and growing some vegetable and all that.
Okay, excellent. That's nice. Okay, let's read
Let's
the
read.
purport.
Unlike the miscreants, these are the adharnas.
Adherence. Adherence means they are following
of the regulatory principle of scriptures, and they are called suktina.
Sukritana.
Or sukritna means?
Sukritana means pious.
Pious, okay.
It means pious, yeah.
Or those who obey the rules and regulations of scriptures. The moral and social law and are more or less devoted to Supreme Lord. Out of these, there are 4 classes of men who, those who are sometimes distressed, those who are in need of money, those who are sometimes inquisitive, and those who are sometimes searching after a knowledge of absolute truth. These person comes to Supreme Lord for devotional service under different conditions. These are not pure devotees because they have some aspiration to fulfill in exchange for devotional service. Pure devotional service is without aspiration and without desire for material profit. The Bhakti Rasmrita Sindhu 1.111 defines pure devotional thus. Okay, this is the
You don't
one.
have to read the Sanskrit, just English here.
One should render transcendental loving service to the Supreme Lord Krishna favorably and without desire of material profit or gain through fruitive activities or philosophical speculations. That is called pure devotional service. When these 4 kind of person comes to the Supreme Lord for devotional service and are completely purified by association of a pure devotee, they also become a pure devotee. As far as the miscreant are concerned, for them, devotional service is very difficult because their lives are selfish, irregular, and without spiritual goal. But even some of them, by chance, when they come in contact with the pure devotee, also become pure devotee. Those who are always busy with fruitive activities comes to the Lord in material distress and at that time associate with pure devotee and become in their desire devotees of the Lord. Those who are simply frustrated also come sometimes to association with the pure devotees and become inquisitive to know about God. Similarly, when the dry philosophers are frustrated in every field of knowledge, they sometimes want to learn of God. And they come to Supreme Lord to render devotional service, and thus transcendent knowledge of the impersonal Brahman and the localized Paramatma, and come to the personal conception of Godhead by the grace of Supreme Lord or his pure devotee. On the whole, when distressed, the inquisitive, the seeker of knowledge, and those who are in need of money are free from all material distress, and when they fully understand that material remuneration has nothing to do with spiritual improvement, they become pure devotee. As long as such as purified stage is not attained, devotee in transcendental service to the Lord are tainted with fruitive activity, the search for mundane knowledge, etc. So one has to transcend all this before one can come to stage of pure devotional service. So it's like when they comes to even if they're for reason they comes, but if they contact with the pure devotee, they become a devotee.
Yes.
And they say that means like if you come to Krishna consciousness, you should not have even these 4. Like you cannot be a transaction. It's not a give and take policy.
Correct.
It's no transaction, no business. It's like if you are coming for something out of these 4, it means you're doing business with Krishna. You can't do.
It's not pure, but it's not pure devotional service if you're in these categories.
Yeah.
except for the last one is nearly pure.
Yes,
the Gyani, searching for the knowledge. But it's a foot in the door. It's a foot in the door. That's how I mean, you can't expect in the very beginning you're a pure devotee, because we're in the material world because we turned away from Krishna. But if you've got in these categories, it's your foot in the door. And then if you meet a devotee, a pure devotee, by their mercy and instructing us and everything, if we take that instruction, then we can become a pure devotee. We can become a pure devotee.
Yes.
There's some problems with these because there's some material motivations here, like the first one, right? Then what's the material motivation for the first one? That you're suffering and you come to God because you're suffering and you want him to take away your suffering. So that's your motivation for approaching God is, please take away my suffering. The second one is you're approaching God, very good. But why are you approaching God? Because you want money, because you want wealth. The problem with these motivations is, one of the problems is, then, okay, you come to God because you're suffering. Just say God does take away your suffering. What might happen? The reason why you came is because you're suffering and you want to be happy. You want to take that suffering away. So say God does take away that suffering. What could happen possibly?
Or you'll leave.
Once the suffering's gone, what might happen?
It's only two ways happen. That maybe he leave, or maybe he will be connect more into the Krishna consciousness because things working. And then,
so maybe because the suffering is gone, then that was the reason why he came, to remove that. Okay, now I got what I wanted. Now I'm going to go now. I'm happy now. So that might happen. But the hope is that, okay, the suffering's gone, but now I've heard from the devotees, I've heard from the guru, I've done some service, so I've become attracted now. I've become attracted now because these are the nicest people I've ever met, and it's the best food, and I love the music, and the philosophies really makes a lot of sense, and it's like that. And so you become a bit purified in the meantime. But the danger is that if the suffering is taken away, that you might go. But hopefully you've been injected with enough mercy from the devotees that you'll stay. And the same with the one that's looking for the wealth. Okay, you came because of poverty and like that, so you got the money or whatever you wanted, and then you might go. But the hope is, once again, you would have got purified by associating with the devotees, and you've become a bit enlightened and like that, and then you'll stay. So that's the hope.
I mean, so when they go to the bed, their heart will tell, how did you come over this problem? Because of I surrendered to the God, and God listened, and then I just come out of either wealth or a health or something. So it's going to be very selfish if I leave it there. I have to do some service in order to return that, because God helped me to get me out of that situation. I'll do something for the temple. I'll do something for the devotee or something. Otherwise, it'll be very selfish. It's like a one way. Just give.
Yeah, but guaranteed, we are selfish to different degrees. That's why we're in the material world. So that's a problem, that we're not selfless. We are a bit selfish. So, but hopefully the idea is, like it's mentioned, emphasized here, is that by associating with devotees, by a pure devotee, then we can become purified by that. And we see that, just like Prabhupada, for example, right? Even people that met Prabhupada for a few seconds, they became so purified of all their selfish, ideas and everything.
But Prabhupada was a pure devotee, finding a pure devotee.
Yeah, I know, but that's what we need. We need that, that's what's going to attract us, like that. And just another a scenario, what can happen, Prabhupada mentions this. During the Second World War, many women went to the churches because their fathers went to the war, their husbands went to the war, and their sons went to the war, And they went to church. Why? What was it? Just because they love God? No, but because they want their husbands, fathers, and sons to come back.
Yeah.
And in many cases, do you know what happened? What was the outcome in many cases? They went to the church to pray for their sons, fathers, and husbands to come back. But what was the actual outcome in many cases?
Maybe they come back and
no, in most of the some cases, but in most of the cases they didn't come back.
They didn't come back. Okay.
Okay, so their motivation to go there to God was to get their, the man back. But if the man doesn't come back, then did they still go to the church, do you think?
And there will become a question mark in their mind. Is there someone listening?
Yeah, well, I came to you, God, to get my husband back, and you didn't give me him back, so I'm not going to come to you anymore. So that's a material motivation, and that's the problem. That if you don't fulfill your motive through coming to God, then you'll leave God. So that's obviously an impediment, to our bhakti. But a pure devotee, it doesn't matter what comes back, whether you get suffering back or poverty back or anything, like the gopis said it, the last verse of the Shikshastika, ashli sava paratam panastama marashanam matam karotava yatatadavadada tulampato mat prananata sevanapara. What that means is that whether you make me broken-hearted by not being present before me, or whether you handle me roughly by your embrace, you are completely free to do anything and everything, for you're always my worshipful Lord, unconditionally. Unconditionally. So that's what the gopis are saying there, that whether you trample me under your feet, whether you make me broken-hearted by not being present before me. Because what did Krishna do, right? Krishna left Vrindavan, he never came back. Broken-hearted. They all broke. But does that mean, oh, you left me, Krishna, I'm not going to chant your holy names anymore or serve you anymore? No, they kept doing it. They in fact, they did it more. He didn't come back, but they intensified their service to Krishna even more. Like that. So that's unconditional. That's real bhakti. That's pure love. It's unconditional. It doesn't matter what the person that I love does, I still love them. That's real love. If your love stops because of what the person does or doesn't do, then that's not real love. That's not real. That's lust. If the person that I so-called love doesn't please me anymore, and then I think, well, I don't like them anymore, I hate them, then that was never love. That's lust. You know what I mean? Lust is like, I'll scratch your back, you scratch mine. And if you stop scratching my back, that's it, I'm going away. That's not love, that's lust. That's like business.
Love is a one-way transaction.
Well, no, I mean, it's two-way, but even if it doesn't come back the way you would like, you still love the person.
No matter what, yeah.
No matter what happens. No, it doesn't matter what the other person does or doesn't do, you still love them. Like a mother and child, right? I mean, the child could become a criminal, but the mother still loves him.
Yes. No matter what, yes.
It doesn't matter. Or this child leaves the parents and never comes back, but the mother still loves, So it's like that. It's like that. And that kind of love is the only kind of love that will completely satisfy us, the soul. And it's the only kind of love that completely satisfies Krishna. That business kind of transaction, that I'll do something for you if you do something for me, that doesn't really satisfy us. It doesn't really satisfy Krishna either. It's only that pure, unconditional love that completely satisfies our hearts, and Krishna's heart too, that pure, unconditional, unmotivated love. But we can't expect that's going to be there in the beginning. So like these four kinds of people, there's some motives there. But the idea is somehow or other, if they can come in contact with especially the devotees, then the pure devotees, then the idea is that those material motives will get cleared out in due course. If they can stick to that association in the process, they'll become purified. But yeah, it's the foot in the door. So we need that. We need somehow we came to Krishna. Doesn't really matter how you came to Krishna, but that's great that you came to Krishna. Whether you came because you were suffering, or you came because you were after money, or you came because you just were a bit inquisitive what's going on, like that, but somehow you came. And I know devotees that came to Hare Krishna through Buddhism. They were Buddhists before, or they were Christians before, or some like me were like agnostics. Some came through, I mean, I came through woofing. I was on a woofing farm and I met a devotee. Some came through university. Some came through, different ways. It doesn't matter how you came, but the real thing is that you came. And you arrived at the destination. How you got to the destination doesn't really matter, but you achieved the destination.
That's true.
Yeah. But that's good. So we can give some credit to that there must have been something good.
Yes.
And what you were doing before. So even like if they were Buddhist before, well, there was something good in that Buddhist path that led you to Krishna consciousness. So we don't just criticize, Buddhism is just completely useless. If it helps one come to Krishna consciousness, that was like a stepping stone. It was a good stepping stone. So that's not bad. Of course, if you're a Buddhist or whatever and you never come to Krishna consciousness, well, that's a waste of time. That's whatever you're doing. Oh, you were woofing, you were, willing worker on an organic farm, and you just spent your life on the organic farm and you never came to Krishna consciousness. Well, that was a complete waste of time. But if you went from working on the farm to Krishna consciousness, that's great. If you went from being a Christian to Krishna consciousness, that's great. And like that. So if you step up to Krishna consciousness, then that step that you used, that's also valuable. That's also valuable.
Is sometimes the Krishna create the situation for you to come? It's like sometimes he will create the situation. You got no choice left just to be hands up and surrender. I'm gone. Yeah. That could be the reason as well. And Krishna, he's not listening. I have to take away from him, whether it's family member or a job or a business or anything there. Whatever, he's very loving that, and then he come to the temple and busting and crying that please help. Like,
that special mercy of Krishna gets involved in that person's life and removes some of the obstacles away. But that means that person has already got some kind of connection with Krishna. Otherwise, if it's completely
no connection whatsoever,
atheistic person, not really interested in Krishna at all and God at all, then Krishna is normally not going to get involved in that person's karma and everything. But if it's someone that has some sincere feelings for God or whatever, but they've got stuck with some obstacles that block their way, then Krishna may remove those obstacles like that. And that's a special mercy. Like there's a verse in the 10th canto Bhagavatam that says, Yasyaham, her nugurami, that's saying, to those persons who I show special mercy to, I take away all their wealth.
Yeah.
And at that point, all their family members and friends reject them.
Yeah.
Because if we don't have any money, then who cares for us, right? True. So then our family and friends, they all abandon us and everything. And the person becomes completely miserable. And Krishna says that's a special mercy to someone. That basically brings them to the point of being completely miserable. Because like the saying here, in distress, right? We come to Krishna through that distress. Yeah. So that special mercy, that all your material enjoyment's taken away, your money and your family, everything's taken away. And then you end up just falling down at Krishna's feet, Krishna saved me. But that's special mercy. And even in this life, if we didn't have much connection, but we might have had some connection in the previous life or something like that, and we're a good devotee or something, and then now we've fallen down into ignorance or whatever. But Krishna's bringing us back, Krishna's bringing us back in like that. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a very important verse actually. I just folded that a little page because it's some of them I really wants to remember. That's why I just turn the page around and then
nice.
at different times there's a few of them. Yeah, this one was one of them. But this is like I'm preaching all to everyone anyway. This one, the 4 kind of people comes there too, and like a lot of Indian people comes that in their in there, and they seen me in the temple as well, and they seen me in the restaurant as well, and then you know, they were saying, so when I can see that it's they're ready, then I just say, you know, have to read 1 page of Bhagavad Gita before you go to bed. So you know, it's very important. And okay, some purchase that, some later on. So it's like, and then this is oh, food is very good. I said, well, this is the difference. This is not food. That's a prasadam. Food you can get in any Indian restaurant, but you won't get prasadam there. Prasadam is once we've been offered. First, thali goes to Jagannath. There's a Jagannath here. Yeah. After that, everyone eat. 10:30 we cook. 11 o'clock to offer Jagannath. 11:30 open the restaurant.
Wonderful.
But they don't do that. You will get food here. Over there, restaurant you'll get food. Here you'll get prasadam. There's a difference.
Yes, yes.
They'll say, oh, food is very nice. Then I only tell Indians because Western doesn't understand the prasadam. But Indians, this is the difference. Food you can get any Indian restaurant, but prasadam you'll get only either temple or temple restaurant because we offer. That's why he says very tasty, very simple food, very tasty. I said because being offered to Jagannath, of course it's got to be tasty. So they slowly, and then they go and read that a little poster Jagannath, and then look in the little wall there for the books and all that. Sometimes they pick up some books, and later on, you know, they will come back and they say yes.
Nice, nice.
Yeah, come to then.
So you're still going there on